Good evening, folks. Live from Spartanburg, South Carolina, I'm Jordan Stampler. This is our first and inaugural episode of TV Timeout. The episode is named Groundbreaking. Jordan Stampler alongside three co-hosts, Joe Curtis, Tyler Stampler, and Ian Fitzpatrick. I, Jordan Stampler, am from South Florida, currently residing in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Went to school at USC Upstate for 2 years with a journalism major, and I'm currently an assistant baseball coach at USC Upstate. Ty?
Tyler Stampler here, reporting from Bristol, Virginia, going to school in Bristol, Tennessee at King University, going for my master's. Played football at New Mexico State University, originally from South Florida as well. Like I said, living in Bristol, Virginia now. Joe?
I'm Joe Curtis, and I'm a silky smooth cat going at the University of Miami, getting my JD doctorate. You heard? Ian.
Ian Fitzpatrick, residing from Cleveland, Ohio right now. Went to Notre Dame College, double majored communication, public relations, wrestled, played golf, was a member of the 2010, 2011, 2012 National Championship Wrestling teams at Notre Dame College. So I bring success everywhere I go.
That's what I'm talking about, fellas. Now listen, to all our viewers out there, we want to get to know you guys on a personal basis. So here's what we're going to do. I go by the real J Stamp. That's what they call me. That's where you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, probably not Facebook, but you could try it. Some of you other guys, I know you don't like to be called by your regular names. Ty?
T.O.
JC?
They call me Joe, baby.
And Fitzy.
Fitzy, I Fitz, it don't matter to me, whatever you want to call me.
Mike?
Rumor has it that some people do, on occasion, call Ian Fitzpatrick Mike the Leprechaun.
He's actually sporting the green tie he does wear.
Well,
That's perfect.
go Irish.
Go Irish. To kick things off here on the inaugural episode, we're going to start off with what was a blunder of a football game last night out in Phoenix, Arizona, with the Pro Bowl. Team Irving was it? Team Irving won 32-28, scored a late touchdown over Team Carter. I guess it turned out to be a pretty decent football game. Ty, what do you got on that?
There was actually some defense, and the highlight of the game, Jimmy Graham did score a touchdown. Joe, where's Jimmy Graham from?
The U, but not really because he sucks, and he dropped 2 passes against Virginia Tech. Did not become famous until after the U.
You're telling me he sucks. He's a borderline Hall of Famer, like all the ESPN reporters are claiming already. The man could easily be the best tight end in the game right now. What do you have to say about that, Ian?
I mean, with him and Drew Brees, that's a deadly combination. I mean, he's led the league in receiving touchdowns for tight ends ever since he came into the league.
He's been
It's hard
competing.
to not the stats. He is great,
He's been competing with receivers for touchdowns.
and that's what's unbelievable about it. I mean, the fact that a tight end could put out that many yards, that many receiving touchdowns. I mean, he's a matchup nightmare, kind of like Gronk, or Vernon Davis when he's healthy, stuff like that,
Exactly. Jordan has a great piece of information from Jimmy Graham's basketball career. Jordan, can you share with us, please?
Yeah, Jimmy Graham basically on the hardwood was, similar to me when I play at my friend's house. Just an obsolete moving figure. He was a bit more bigger than I was, but he was horrible at basketball. Anybody else concur?
There were games where me and Jimmy Graham had the same amount of rebounds. That was the highlight of his career. But other than that, back to the Pro Bowl last night. As mentioned before, Team Irvin beat Team Carter 32-28.
What nobody mentioned here last night Stafford passed for 316 yards. There was only one touchdown scored in the fourth quarter. I'm assuming Stafford didn't even play because I ended the game to myself after the first quarter because that's all that was relevant to me. So Stafford passed for 316 yards. Would he be considered an elite quarterback in the NFL?
Define elite.
I mean, we're talking the echelon of Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees prior to this year. the upper echelon, you put a guy like Megatron on his roster, it really changes the dynamic of the football game. But
Let's look at it this way. Would he have been the Pro Bowl QB if the Pro Bowl was after the Super Bowl?
No.
Exactly. So would he be an elite QB? I'm going to say yes because he's still top 10 in the league.
Top 10, but elite is top 5. Come on.
Every stat-wise, he's top 10.
If we're going to stay elite, top 5.
Elite's probably top 3, to be honest. But
Okay.
I'm going to go with he's still an elite QB.
I would say no. I mean, he's like Joe said, he's top 10, but he's not top 5. And in my book, that's top 5. That's elite. I mean, I would have him in the 7 to 10 range.
Here's a toss-up for you
7
guys.
to 10.
For you guys. You're drafting first. Only 2 guys on the board are Matthew Stafford and Andy Dalton. Who's your first pick?
Stafford.
Okay. Obviously, that's Stafford. Dalton chokes every single time in the playoffs. I mean,
Cody Romo or Matt Stafford?
I'm going to have to trade my pick and hope that next year I get a better work with.
I agree with Joe on that one, then.
I'm still going with Stafford.
So if it's Romo or Stafford, who are we taking?
You know, Tony Romo and the Cowboys, better love story than Titanic, Twilight, and Sweet Home Alabama put together. Gotta go with my boy Tony Romo.
Got it. Any other takes on the Pro Bowl last night?
I do have one more thing to say about back on the Jimmy Graham thing. I don't know if anybody follows him on Twitter, but Jimmy Graham did have something quite interesting to say on Twitter. He tweeted, "Hopefully this is proof everybody loves it and it needs to be added back into our great game," after he dunked on his touchdown. What questions arise about celebrating after a touchdown? I feel like, personally, they should be able to do whatever they want. They're in the NFL. Throw a ball, kick it, moon the crowd. Who cares?
I don't know about mooning.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
There's a fine line. I mean, you're not going to walk around naked on the sideline, but for dunking a football, you should not be penalized. For spinning the football and acting dead, you should not be penalized.
I agree with that, Tyler, but on the flip side, you're saying, nothing obscene. What about Marshawn Lynch, what he did? You think he should be fined for that?
The whole jumping backwards incident?
And grabbing a area that you can't say.
It was his groin.
That's taunting. There's a difference.
Oh.
Taunting, celebrating. Where's the fine line? You gotta define it for us here.
Dunking a football in the uprights there's a big difference between that and turning around and absolutely taunting the other team with your private areas.
We're playing devil's advocate here. Dunking the ball shows how big and strong you are. You just got destroyed by this guy. Couldn't you also make that argument? That it's not just celebrating, it's taunting. Celebrating would be going to your teammate, throwing the ball on the ground, spinning the ball. There's a difference between doing that and then going and dunking. You're trying to show that you're superior.
You're just showing that you could dunk on a 10-foot hoop, which 90% of the people in the NFL can.
What you're trying to say is that he's emasculating the other team, and if that's what other NFL teams are worried about, then they should probably stop playing this football.
They should.
I think it's obscene that he would get a penalty for that. I hope he does it until they stop calling a penalty or stop fining him. It's just a stupid. I understand the point of where do you draw the line, but the line is drawn somewhere after a dunking of a football into a goalpost. Sorry. Up next on the slate, we're going to talk a little about the upcoming Super Bowl here. It's coming up this Sunday. Seahawks, Patriots. Straight up, who you guys taking?
Patriots, Tom Brady.
I'm going with the Pats. I got to go with Tom Brady. I mean, I don't know. They might have another trick up their sleeve. Hopefully they don't. They're thinking we don't catch them.
Or Belichick's non-sleeves. Ty?
I'm going to have to go with the Patriots as well. Tom Brady's the best quarterback, arguably of all time, especially right now. He's hands down the best quarterback in the league right now. He just knows how to win. Although I'd love the Seahawks to win, but I'm going with the Pats.
All valid points. Why are we taking the Patriots all across the board? I need some background research as to why they will win this football game.
Tom Brady's just a better-looking quarterback, Jay.
Makes perfect sense to me. Ian?
I'm going to have to go with Tom Brady. He's a proven winner. And then on top of that, Seattle's defense has looked suspect against the run, especially with Eddie Lacy. like last week tearing them apart. I mean, they have the back of the day who we don't even know who they're going to pick yet, but it could be Jonas Gray, it could be Blunt, it could be Green. It doesn't matter because them with the vertical threat of Gronk and Brady, I don't think they're going to be able to be stopped.
Ian, I'm sorry to stop you there, but you mentioned Eddie Lacy playing for the Patriots. We gotta take a step backwards there, man.
Eddie Lacy last week tore
Dominated them last week, is what he said.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry, I misunderstood.
Yes.
Ty?
We all know Tom Brady is a stud, and if they're able to run the ball like the Packers did, it's going to be a long game. But I will say something. There is a robot on the other team's defense. He goes by, I think his name's something along the lines of Cam Chancellor. He's an actual robot. He has an on-off switch. So if he is on, there is a chance that he could stop the run himself. So.
That's very
Gotcha. Guys, listen. I wanted to bring something up here. The Seattle Seahawks defense is known throughout the NFL as one of the best defenses, secondaries, whatever you want to call it, in the NFL. Am I correct?
Correct.
Would you guys argue that outside of Seattle, that defense is not even close to the same thing?
Agreed. 12th man.
I agree. I mean, the 12th man, it does give you a significant advantage, especially with the construction. But, I mean, I think that they're a great team, but they're not as good in the neutral site games. So I would say.
No, I think that's I think it's a valid point. I think it's something that needs to be brought up in the discussion of the Super Bowl. I think it's something that'll be underplayed, with everything else surrounding the Super Bowl. So just something to watch out for, see if that defense plays with their same intensity as they would out in Seattle. We all know the 12th man's a huge factor and a reason they win a lot of football games.
One more thing on the Super Bowl. As far as travel goes for both teams, do you think the Patriots are at a disadvantage traveling halfway across the country where I know Seattle still, it's got to be a 3-hour plane ride. You think Patriots, who's going to have the advantage in the stand?
I think there's plenty of time between when they get there in the game that there shouldn't be any disadvantage.
No, not on the field, the fans. Who's going to have more in the stands?
Oh, that.
Patriots probably travel better, have more of a national fan base than Seattle. That'd be my guess.
Ian?
I mean, I've been around the country, and a lot of people are now, jumping on that bandwagon. I feel like it's going to be pretty good. It'll be 50-50. Like Jay said, the Patriots have that national fan base, but I feel like there's a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon, so it'll be 50-50.
Valid point. Any other takes on the Super Bowl before we move on here? I got some pretty interesting information coming up next. You guys just want to move on to that?
Go for it.
I don't know if you guys heard today, but it looks like Kobe Bryant will be done for the season as he goes to have surgery on his rotator cuff. Third season-ending injury. Not a real good sign for the Lakers. He's 36 years old, hasn't completed any of his last 3 seasons. Guys, is this the end of the road for the Black Mamba?
I'll start here. Not only Kobe Bryant, Tony Roten, Brandon Jennings. It's that time of the year. Everybody has little nicks and bruises, and it turns into long-term injuries. It's not just him. But I think he's done. He's going to move right into a front office role. Who knows? He may even be the head coach for Jason Kidd.
Ian?
I mean, I think that it should be the end for him, but I don't think that his pride will let him. I don't think he's going to want to go out like that, especially when he has one more year left on his deal. Hopefully they get a good draft pick and they make something of it. And I feel like he's going to go back for at least one more year and at least try to finish it and go out the right way. But I think that he should retire, though.
Jason?
Along the lines of the draft pick, hold on one second. They had a great draft pick last year in Julius Randle, and he played half of a game this year. So they should not be banking on a great draft pick. As we all know, injuries do happen.
They get the number one pick. You're telling me that he wouldn't be dominant with Okafor?
Oh, he's going, right? He's going. He would definitely play if they have the number one pick, and they're right on pace for the number one pick. But I'm just saying, injuries happen. Look at Julius Randle.
Excuse
Okay.
me, definitely not on pace. There's a team called the Philadelphia.
They would have Julius Randle and
They'll have the best, arguably the best young front court in the NBA.
okay.
I mean, that does help. And they still have younger guys in the back court, which helps his decision also. But I think he should go out.
Joe Curtis.
I think Kobe Bryant's starting to get to the point where he's starting to realize that his career is either last season. I would say at least one more year, and that would be it. This is what are we? 2 months into the season, and he's out for the rest of the season. He's been in trouble with injury the past 2, 3, 4 years. I think it might be tough for him with his ego to realize that it's over, but it's close. At least one more year, I'd say.
Interesting points all around, guys. Just throw some statistics at you. He's averaging 22.3 points a game this year, 5.7 rebounds, and 5.6 assists for the shooting guard Kobe Bryant. He's getting paid $23.5 million this year and is under contract for $25 next year. Think that's in the back of his mind, fellas.
Yeah, that's why I think he'll play at least one more year because he's guaranteed that 25 if he plays. I mean, when the Lakers signed that deal, I said to all of my friends and everybody, it's a dumb deal. You're paying him for what he's done in the past, but in my mind, I'm sorry, but without Shaq, he doesn't win those 3 titles. Without the other supporting cast, he doesn't win the other 2 titles. So, yes, he is a great player. He is one of.
But does anybody win an NBA title on their own nowadays? Or ever,
Exactly.
for that matter.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like he is a great player. I just don't think he's as great as others do. That's just my personal opinion, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like he doesn't. Let's see. He's not worthy of the 25 mil. I would say he's more worth 15.
It doesn't matter. That's what it says on the contract, Ian. That's what he's worth.
That's I guess the Lakers are paying him for what he's done in the past, not what he's going to do now. All he's doing now is just hurting them by strapping them with the cap.
He's the face of the franchise, though.
If he wanted to win a title, if he really wanted to win a title, he would be getting paid 15 mil, free up another 10 mil on that cap for them, and then they can maybe go get another second, good player or a couple good players with that, and then get the good draft pick for next year.
On the line of contracts, not to change sports or anything, but the Cincinnati Reds catcher today, Devin Mesoraco, I don't know how you pronounce his last name.
Rocco, you just said it correctly.
4-year, $28 million deal. He's 26 years old. His salary last year was $525,000. Do we think that's not obscene?
Mesoraco is probably one of the best catchers in the major leagues this past year. Seeing how he's young, probably has some upside, according to scouts around the Major League Baseball Scouting Bureau. Probably a good decision for the Cincinnati Reds to lock him up. They're trying to make a run in a tough NL Central this year. A tough NL Central. So probably not a bad move for the Reds.
That's $7 million a year. I'm sorry.
Not a bad move at all.
What about Giancarlo Stanton then, if we're talking about contracts, large contracts?
Absolutely stupidity. We're moving into baseball, fellas. Let's get going here because we just opened a can of worms in the contract world.
One word, Ichiro.
Is it? Did he officially sign with the Marlins?
Signed with the Marlins.
Not a bad pickup. Any idea what they're paying him? I don't even know.
Well, they're paying him a lot of money for a 40-year-old player. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
But he's a good hitter. He's like a Juan Pierre, except much better. So, you know what the Fish did when we had Juan Pierre playing well? We won a World Series. So,
correct.
Hopefully we can rekindle the Ichiro flame, as you may put.
Well, I mean, if you look around their outfield, they're much improved with Ichiro. Obviously, the top of their lineup will be pretty stellar. The question is, are they going to be healthy enough on the mound to compete in what is probably the most dispersed division in baseball in the NL East between teams like the Philadelphia Phillies, who just absolutely blew up, and the Washington Nationals, who have the best rotation and probably starting nine in Major League Baseball.
Ichiro's contract is a $2 million deal, so they're not paying him a lot, but it is 1 year, $2 million for a 42-year-old who hasn't been in his prime for about 10 years now. So.
Got it. Alrighty. Anyway, sorry about getting off on that tangent there. Going into contract world.
K-Land,
Couple real. Give me a second here, fellas. Couple real interesting things going on in the sports world right now. Big game out in Utah, Boston against Utah. That's something we all love and care about. 51-51 with 9:41. I'm sorry, 21-21 with 9:41 left to go in the second quarter. That's a big game right there, fellas, huh?
No comment.
Thank you. Now, this one is pretty big, though. Philadelphia at New Orleans. New Orleans is now up 18 points. Anybody want to talk on that?
More interested in the Iowa State Texas game. College basketball right now. Two ranked teams, two pretty good teams in the Big 12.
It doesn't matter because the Canes are 23 in the country, baby.
It does matter.
We're champions, baby. Where the trophy at?
Joe, is it all about the U?
It is and always will be all about.
Hey, Notre Dame's not too bad this year. I mean, I don't think that
Notre Dame College or Notre Dame University?
it would be the University of Notre Dame. Get it right, sir.
Burn back.
Irish to you, sir.
If I was, what's the guy's name on PTI? Tony
Kornheiser.
No.
Binghamton.
No, I'm sorry. Around the horn, Max.
I get negative points, wouldn't I?
No, I would have gave you guys both like 3 points right there, like, because you just burned each other real good. Good
You
stuff.
know what I say to that, baby?
Watch me! Watch me! I got it!
Good boy, Joe. A little bit of bracketology 101 for you now. Kentucky Wildcats. 1, are they better than the 76ers? 2, will they lose a game this year? Joe?
Answer to your question 1 would be no.
Interesting.
Answer number 2 would be yes.
I mean, who have they played? They've played, the two best teams they've played is Syracuse and UNC, I think. And UNC is playing Syracuse right now. I'm not sure what the score is, but those are two ACC teams, but as we've seen, Miami is a mediocre basketball team this year, and they dominated Syracuse for the most part. And we haven't played UNC yet, but UNC's having trouble with Syracuse, so
North Carolina beat Syracuse by 10 points.
Sorry?
North Carolina beat Syracuse by 10 points.
Let me continue on that though. North Carolina was only up by 2 with a minute left, and then I don't know what Syracuse did, but yes, they failed miserably, is what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think Duke. You can't count out Duke though,
Not at all.
especially with those fabulous freshmen.
Guys, Kentucky has the 2 best teams in the country on their team.
I'm sorry. Okay, ready?
If Kentucky's team split in half,
They're not-
split in half, they would be ranked number 1 and number 2 in the country.
No,
that would be some kind of NCAA violation, so they shut one of them. So they'll be ranked number 1.
The real question is who would coach them.
Calipari, he's a cheater, so he'll coach both teams.
No, he'll just make a clone of himself.
John Chachin would coach. He's undefeated.
I agree. That would be great for the Wildcats.
Back on the question, What was number one? Are they better than the 76ers? No. And number two?
Will they go undefeated?
No.
No.
No and no.
They won't go undefeated.
No.
I don't know. What does Wichita State? Are they still undefeated this year? No.
No, the only other undefeated team right now is the University of Virginia.
Well, Miami must beat them. So
They've had a lot of tough, close games. So.
Notre Dame
moving
got hurt.
on to curling, NBC Sports is now airing Curling Night in America. Is that something you guys be watching?
Yeah, I'll watch that as much as I watch nothing.
But you watch nothing all the time. You're not watching something else.
That's what I'm getting at, Joe. Read between the lines, baby.
I got it. Hey!
I will watch that as much as I watch Zeo Kwan.
Zio.
He just threw the Zia Kwan referencing.
I
For
need
those
to-
of you viewers out there that don't know what Zia Kwan is, that is the act of, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is drunk
Martial arts of some
martial
sort.
arts.
Taekwondo. It's drunken martial arts.
Okay. Ian, you going to be watching what was it, Joe?
Curling Night in America.
Curling night.
Do you know what curling is?
Yes, I do. It's on ice, and then they have their little brooms, and then they all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
We could actually form a curling team right here if we really had to.
I want to be the pusher. No, I want to be the scrubber. That's more fun.
Wait, isn't there only 3 people? I'll be the coach.
I mean, what is there a coach? You just push or you don't push.
No, the coach yells.
Yeah.
What does he actually yell, though?
He yells at it, stop, and it listens.
Alrighty. Well, folks, I think we're about coming down here to the end of our first episode. You guys got any final thoughts? Let's talk Super Bowl next or this week, Sunday. Give me final thoughts on the Super Bowl, Joe.
I got one more random thing, Jay.
Yes, please.
Cristiano Ronaldo was dating a supermodel. Her name escapes me. She left Cristiano Ronaldo for The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Why is this important? Because The Rock went to...
Tell you.
Just saying.
Before you guys get your
Dwayne The
final
Rock
thoughts.
Johnson is an actual rock.
This is a proven fact.
That he's an actual rock?
Yes. He's like the guy. He's like the guy from the Fantastic Four. Like, he's like that guy. It's just a big rock that moves.
The thing.
The Thing. Yes. Exactly.
Guys, before we head out of here and get to final thoughts, I got a couple fan mail questions. Question for Ian Fitzpatrick. Ian, are you on a subway with those headphones in your ear? From user @bulky.
No, I'm not in a subway. I am actually in my room. Just didn't want to be distracted with other roommates in the house making noise outside the room.
Got another question for Ian Fitzpatrick from @JD123. Ian, are those real glasses?
Yes, they are.
Solid. Got one more question here. This is for Joe Curtis. This is from @AndrewG O-Town. He said, Joe.
Time out. That's Andrew Gotown, I think, not Andrew G. O-Town.
You could be right. No, but there's a period in between.
Oh,
G-O-Town. He said, hold on, let me pull it up right here. He said, Joe, you mentioned Coach Chachin. Wasn't that you?
No. People like to get us confused, but John Chachin is actually my second cousin on my dad's side. We look similar, but he's not me. I appreciate it. That's a big compliment. It's high praise, but unfortunately, it's not me.
Thank you for the honest answer. We appreciate the fan mail, guys. Please hit us up @TV_timeout on pretty much every social media. On YouTube, you can find us @TV Timeout. Look forward to hearing more feedback from you guys. We appreciate you guys watching tonight, and look forward to more episodes. Probably come out with them weekly, if not bi-weekly, if we could gather the troops, so to speak, and come out with more episodes. Any final thoughts, fellas?
Go Pats, Deflategate.
Go Fighting Irish of Notre Dame College.
That would be
I
Falcon.
got something that makes me want to shout.
You can play the music. Let's get out of here.
Play the music.
I